What is up, everyone? It is Saturday, May 20th of 2023. We are back with another family education and support group with your host, Param, at this new day and time. Well, new time, at least, same day. So I understand that this was last minute in terms of this new time. And there may be a few of you that are unable to attend at this time. And good morning, Jim. Always good to see you. And if that's okay, that's okay. I understand that, it's Saturday and people have obligations in life and responsibilities. And this was just a better time for myself because I have made a commitment to do this moving forward every Saturday for the most part, like I always do. And this time just works better for me for some new life responsibilities I got to do. And so let me give a quick introduction of myself and what this group is while we wait for some people to trickle on. Today, I got something pretty special to myself and actually to a lot of people that might be watching this that come from the same recovery community as I do. So my name is Param. I do this every Saturday for the most part. I'm back in action. And it's something that's going to go on from about 9:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time till about 10 a.m. And it's always going to be recorded. So if you can watch it on Facebook, feel free to. If you prefer YouTube, it should be there simultaneously. And the goal of these weekly family education support groups is to provide some education information on various topics such as addictions, mental health, codependency, rebuilding trust, communications, personal development, and a little bit of everything in between. So let's get into it today. Today, like I said, is a special one for myself and a lot of people that come from my recovery community. So as I shared with you last week that, what's up, guys? So real quick to Mina, my parents, Debbie, and the whole fam over there. Great to be here also. And it's good to see you guys. So we had another loss in our recovery community. A gentleman by the name of Siamak Afshar. So if you've been watching this show for a while, there was one of the days, I don't know when, but I brought him on to talk about all things codependency because he was just a master at being to articulate what codependency was and is. And Siamak passed away last week, and he was battling some health challenges that kind of came on quickly and unfortunately took his life quickly. But it's not like the same, even though it's sudden loss that we talked about a few weeks ago that I got choked up talking about my brother. It's a little bit different because I believe that a lot of the work and a lot of the time that was spent here on earth was used in a very, very productive way. I'm talking about in a way that created people like myself and the people that I work with, so and today I just kind of want to share some things that I learned from Siamak over the course of 15 years of knowing this man and how those lessons that I learned can also be applicable to you in your family's life, in your healing, recovery, and transformation process. So even if you didn't know Siamak, by the time this talk is done, you're going to also be able to take away some lessons, some tools, some nuggets of valuable information based on who he was as a person. And if you are someone watching this and you personally know Siamak or knew Siamak, feel free to write a few things that you learned from him. And I'll gladly put them on the board. You know that when someone writes a comment here, I can share it with others like that. So if you knew Siamak and he touched you, moved you, or inspired you in any given way, feel free to write those comments and let's see what we can do out of this. And again, I know the time has just got thrown on you. There's a lot of people that aren't able to make it at this time. So I met Siamak on back in June of 2008. And how I met Siamak was I was really struggling with alcoholism and addiction, like really struggling. And I was trying the whole psychologist. I was trying the moving to other states and getting away from all my problems. And I was trying from switching to this kind of alcohol to this kind of alcohol or this type of drug to this type of drug and trying to mix and manage it. And my parents were running, they were losing their minds trying to control this uncontrollable a freight train that was headed in the direction of so many people's lives. And I remember going to a psychiatrist because I was starting to bleed. I would cough and blood would come out of my throat and blood would come out the other way and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, son, you got to go meet this guy. I'm like, all right, let's go meet the guy. So I go and meet this man, Siamak, in June of 2008. And at this point in my life, you got to realize that my self-esteem was this big. I was almost a 25-year-old with barely any work or college or professional experience, nothing, just kind of failure to launch, dragging my feet. Couldn't even look at my parents anymore because I was so ashamed of like who I'd become, let alone look at myself in the mirror. Hated that reflection. And I talked to this guy and for about an hour, and all of a sudden I felt like, we didn't touch or embrace, but I felt like it was the warmest hug I always wanted. I felt like he just, he gave me something that I desperately needed, but didn't know I needed, which was just to be seen and heard, away from the actions I was taking and the things I was doing, just for the person I was, the human I was. He was able to sort out all that bullshit and just see me for who I was. And in that moment, like, this guy believed in me. I was like, how does this guy believe in me, man? Did he hear the things I just told him? And he's like, no, man, you're going to be great. And I left his house that day, and I promised myself that one day I will make another human being feel the way this guy made me feel. I didn't know what that meant or how I was going to do that, but that was the promise I made to myself. And, I can't say I got sober after that interaction. Believe it or not, I actually ended up in the hospital that night because I was getting ready to go to rehab at his place the next day. And, I wasn't doing well in that time, but I've been sober since. And so I want to share with you guys what this guy taught me over the years. And feel free to take what you want, leave the rest, and it's okay. I'm just doing this out of gratitude for the time and the lessons that were given to me and my family and countless others. So the first one, Siamak taught me and helped me understand what it means to have integrity in life. Now, integrity is something that means whole, it means complete, it has foundation, it has roots, it doesn't really fall over when the times get rocky and shaky. But integrity, not with just the idea or the concept of it, he broke it down for me. He taught me what it means to have integrity with my word, with what I choose to say to other human beings. To be whole and complete when you say something to someone. To have integrity with the type of words you choose to use, with why you're using them, with the intention of those words. He taught me how to have integrity with my actions. See, actions speak 1,000 words, but guess what? If I'm saying something but doing something else, I have no integrity. So can I align my words and my actions together in a direction of truth, in a direction of love, in a direction of compassion, in a direction of transformation? I didn't know what that meant before meeting this guy. I didn't even know the power of integrity. I remember vividly, and I've shared this story with him and I've shared it in his groups. And by the way, I was a program participant of his for an entire year. His intensive outpatient was very intensive. It was like 14 hours a week. You just go there and he just drills you. But I remember I was in community college. And at this point, I sucked at school. You have to understand, I wasn't like a nerd or a student. I was just someone that just barely could get by. I'm in community college, and halfway through, I'm like, screw this. I'm out of here. I'm going to go sit in the car, listen to music, or I'm just going to go get out of here. And as I was walking away, I heard Siamak's voice in my head saying, what about your integrity? What about your integrity? So I go back and sit back in class again and listen to what the teacher has to say, because Siamak's voice was just imprinted in my head about this integrity thing. So the next one is learn what it means to honor your word. He was really big on this one. See, when you give your word to somebody, when you give your word to somebody, it's your responsibility to honor it. And I just had this talk with our program participants at Buckeye not too long ago, about 30 minutes ago. And I really drilled them in on this one about when you give your word to your recovery, when you give your word to your family, when you give your word to your children, to your significant others, when you give your word to yourself, do you just say it? And as soon as it gets too hard, as soon as it gets too difficult, as soon as it gets too challenging or overwhelming, do you just pull the rug from your own word and just have no integrity? So to honor one's word is one of the most powerful attributes of a successful recovery, and I'll even say a successful life. And where I'm talking about these things that he taught me have such significant roots in my mind. Back in maybe 2015, 2016, the Lakers, they had a bunch of new players come to the team. You know, like they brought all these like superstars and all-stars, not even in 2014. And I love the Lakers and I loved, you know, being a part of that kind of stuff. And I remember I was at the Canyon Club, which is a 12-step meeting community. And I'm at the Canyon Club. And this one kid comes up to me and says, hey, like, I liked what you shared today. I'm looking for a sponsor. Would you be my sponsor? And, you know, we've done this. This is, by the way, hey, John, just real quick, I saw that. It is a live chat. If you have any questions about Siamak or any stories you want to share, feel free to. And Kathleen, always good to see you. So back to the story that I have. When this kid comes up to me and says, hey, I liked what you shared. Would you be interested in being my sponsor? I'm like, I don't know. Sure. Yeah, kid, I got you. I'll be your sponsor. He's like, all right, well, can we meet at the Canyon Club on Sunday and do step work together? I'm like, all right, well, yeah, I got you. We'll do it. Thank you for asking. And then that day I go home and my sponsor at the time, he called me and said, hey, I got these tickets to a Laker game, but I don't really care to go because it's too far and it's LA and this and that, but I know you like basketball. Would you be willing to go? And I was faced with a dilemma. The basketball game was on a Sunday, and I promised this kid that I don't know that I was going to do step work with him on a Sunday. And before meeting Siamak, I would have gone to the basketball game. I would have gave some excuse to some kid I don't know about why I can't be there, see if I can reschedule with him. But after meeting Siamak, I learned the power of my word. I told this kid I will be there on Sunday. You know, I didn't have his phone number, by the way, either. That's another part of the story. I told him I'll be there on Sunday. And guess what I did? Yep, Jim knows it. He knew it because, you know, right before it, he wrote, our word is all we really have in the foundation of our integrity. And right when I was sharing my story, he's like, kid comes first. You know, Jim, there's a lot of human beings that wouldn't say that kid comes first. You know, and guess what? You know, the funniest part of all this, and you probably know this part too without even knowing the story. I met with that kid. We went over his life story and he shared this and that, and we did a little bit of step work. I never saw that kid again. You know, I hope he's okay wherever he's at. I never saw that kid again. But I was able to hold my integrity one more day and honor my word one more day. And that's the kind of stuff I'm telling you. It's like, those are the life lessons, because here's the thing. It's not just about that kid. Yeah, it's not. That's not the point. Thank you. Jim's finishing my sentences for me if you're watching the live chat. It wasn't about that kid. And it wasn't about, you know, him staying sober for the rest of his life or this and that. It was just about the fact that we suit up, we show up, and we honor our word. And here's the thing. If the basketball game would have came before the game, I would have told the kid, I already have obligations on Sunday, but I'll meet with you on so-and-so day. But it just happened to come in a different order. And that's what we learn in these rooms. And we learn from people like Siamak and even like Jim. You know, it's the same type of person in my mind. And then the other thing is, you know, when you learn to honor your word, Siamak told me what it means to sell out. People sell out their word, their recovery, their soul, their body, their mind. They sell it out. But here's the thing. They don't even sell it out for some lavish price tag, they sell it out so cheaply. They sell it out for a little bag. They sell it out for a couple drops. They sell it out for like a warm body of somebody. They sell it out for a few extra bucks in a bank account that they're going to go waste. People sell out their integrity, oh my goodness, for the cheapest prices. And I didn't even know what it means to sell out until I met Siamak. And he started teaching me examples of how human beings sell out and how they do it so cheaply and how it breaks his heart. That's what he used to say. He says, it breaks my heart to watch you sell out so cheaply. It breaks my heart that you don't know what your worth is, that who you are, what you're capable of doing. And that's a pretty cool thing to say, like, people making decisions impacts you so much that it breaks your heart and you barely know them. And I try to stick to that. You know, whenever I watch somebody selling out, I look at them and I say, if only you knew what you're capable of, you would never, ever, ever sell out so cheaply, you know? And it's good stuff. When I'm going over this right now and talking about all this right now, it makes me feel good that I'm able to articulate so many beautiful life lessons from a man that exuded all this. I mean, it would come out of his pores. The next one that I love, and you guys, so one of the things you hear me say every Saturday on this talk is these talks are dedicated to the possibility of human transformation. You hear me say it all the time. I love it. It's my slogan. It's what's important to me. Siamak taught me what it means to be the possibility of something. He would say, who I am is the possibility of love. Who I am is the possibility of communication, healthy communication. Who I am is the possibility of health, of prosperity, of wisdom. Because here's the thing, when we say that we are something, if I say that I'm stupid, or if I say that I'm unable to love, or if I say that I'm unable to trust, if I put a label on myself, that will forever stick with me. But if I say who I am is the possibility of love, that means that anything and everything available and accessible in this life can be mine if I remove the barriers and allow it to be received. You know, who I am is the possibility of health. Some people say, yeah, I'm just sick. But who I am is the possibility of health. Who I am is the possibility of recovery. Some people say, I'll never get this recovery thing. I'll never get sober. I'll never get clean. He'll never get clean. She'll never get clean. Who I am is the possibility of recovery and health. You know, he taught me what that even means. I mean, who talks about these things in life? You know, not that many people. So when I say that these talks are dedicated to the possibility of human and family transformation, is because I believe that the other reason people can come around is because that they opens up their limits to who and what they are. Let's see what something nice here, Kathleen. I totally believe that the main reason for me turning my life around was because I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I lost my word's worth. I owe a lot of my transformation to you. You are my Siamak. Oh man, that's nice. I'll put that one back again and read it. I totally believe that the main reason for me turning my life around was because I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I lost my word's worth. You are my Siamak. And that's Kathleen, that's for someone to say I am their Siamak. First of all, I am honored. I'm humbled. I'm grateful. I'm proud. Because that's all I ever wanted to do. Like, in a way, you're telling me that I impacted you the way Siamak impacted me. So by default, by the way, Siamak is the one that impacted you. I was just the middleman. I happen to be the one that needed to hear the message from him just so I can get it to you. Because there are many people like me out there. And if all of us go and do the work, and by the way, Kathleen, can I give you the next one for this? I hope and I pray to whatever version of praying that, we subscribe to, that one day somebody else, it could be a guy or a girl, it could be from, Eastern Europe, or it could be from the Middle East, or it could be from the United States, says to you, Cataline, that you are my Siamak or you are my Param. And if you can do that, oof, then we've done something special. Then we've done something special. Debbie, what'd you say? I love the way you share what you have learned from him and how they have built your foundation. These examples are incredibly helpful. You can continue to smile because you do what you say. Absolutely. I'm not too sad doing it. Trust me, I'm sad. Tomorrow I'm speaking at this Legends Memorial, and I got to speak it in Farsi. So I'm a little anxious about that. But I'm genuinely full of like energy and love having this conversation. Like the sadness that exists inside me is not that much. And it's not because I'm sad that he passed away, but I'm like, look what he did. Look what he did in my life. Like, how could I be sad? It'd be messed up to him for me to be sad while I talk about these things, because that's not what he did. And I'm glad you're getting something out of it. We got a lot of good ones here to go. And by the way, if any of the Persians or Iranians that get on this thing and they're watching it live, if you have a chance to write anything that what Siamak meant to you, firsthand, feel free to write it. I'll put it up and we can talk about it. So who I am is the possibility of. And by the way, you speak it into existence. You speak it into existence and you become it. You become what you're the possibility of. It removes the ceiling and the limit on human expression. And the next one is, this one's really cool. So anybody at one of the DTOP Pacific Sands, if you hear this, I shared this with you guys last time I saw you, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper in it. So in life, this is what I learned from Siamak. As human beings, we can only live in one of two places at one time. Let's see what real quick Eileen said here. We are often the channel of wisdom and strength, sometimes not even being aware of the impact our words of caring. Yeah, no, I think we're all channels. Like right now, what you're doing, by the way, Eileen, there's so many people that have told me whenever this Eileen lady writes something, we take so much from it. And you have no idea, by the way, that's happening. But I've had people on the phone tell me, is Eileen one of you guys' counselors or therapists? I'm like, no, man, she's just a committed human being that's done a lot of transformation work on herself. So you are a channel of wisdom and strength too. I hope you know that, for at least this community. I'm sure with other ones too. So Siamak taught me that in life, we have two worlds. Number one, the world of reasons. Number two, the world of results. We can only live in one of these worlds at a time. We cannot live in both. So in life, you either have reasons why you're sober, right? Or in life, you have reasons why you're drunk, or you're sober. In life, you either go to the gym or have reasons why you're on the couch. Oh, it's okay, guys. Hold on. I'll say that part again from the beginning because I messed it up and I want to do it right. So good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This part is, just so you guys know, you might have heard this part, the Pacific Sands crew, just for a second, but the rest of it's all new. So let me start that again because I messed it up. I got a little distracted. So Siamak taught me, we're remembering Siamak Afshar. Siamak taught me that in life, there are two worlds that we can live in. The world of reasons and the world of results. You can only live in one of these worlds at a time. You cannot live in both. So for example, in life, you're either sober or have reasons why you drink. In life, you either go to the gym or have reasons why you're on the couch. In life, you're either in a happy relationship or have reasons why you're miserable. You either adhere to a strong, healthy, plant-based whole food diet or have reasons why you're at the drive-thru. You cannot have both at the same time. You can't go to the gym and sit on the couch at the same time. It is impossible. So whichever world that you get is the world that you are committed to. The world of results takes 100% commitment. The world of reasons, 99% commitment at most. And you might be thinking to yourself, Param, if this one is 99% and this one is 100%, How come the outcomes are so different? Because that 1% difference makes all the difference. 99% responsibility versus 100% responsibility, or 99% commitment versus 100% commitment, are completely different animals. Because that 1% you leave out changes everything. And again, sometimes people say, hey man, well, 1%. I mean, how much difference can 1% make? I don't know. Can 1 degree make a difference? You know that thing called water? At specific temperatures, it's water. At 211 degrees Fahrenheit, it's water. At 212 degrees Fahrenheit, it's no longer water. That same water, at regular temperatures, it's water. At 33 degrees Fahrenheit, it's water. At 32 degrees Fahrenheit, it's no longer water. 1 degree changes form. And that 1 degree you leave out, it lets you rationalize and justify and validate and blame for reasons why you don't have the results in life. That whole talk that I just shared with you right now was force-fed and spoon-fed and pounded down my head by Siamak because he was so passionate about it. Somebody would come there and just say something that just happened in their life, and he would just let them know that it's because they're committed to the world of reasons and not the world of results. And if you stay committed to the reasons, you're going to keep getting more reasons. Reasons why you're not happy, reasons why you're not fulfilled, reasons why you're not satisfied, reasons why you're not content, reasons why you're in a shitty relationship, reasons why you're in a dead-end job, reasons why you don't look the way you want to look, you don't feel the way you want to feel, or you get committed to the world of results. Get all those things that your life that you're looking for to have. Transform your life. One world or the other. It's your choice, my friends. Marina Harbor Detox. What's good? Welcome. So what do we got here? What else did Siamak teach me? Now this one's really good for this one's heavier. So it's a good heavy one for us to listen to. Siamak taught me that I am fully responsible for my life. Because he was fully responsible for his life, and he felt like he was responsible for anything and everything. So what does that mean to be fully responsible for your life? Well, some people say that taking responsibility for your life is the highest form of human maturity. So that's number one. But number two, you got to understand, for someone that was in the field like he was for 40 plus years, just helping out human beings, he would come across a lot of people that a lot of times were wounded. A lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of trauma. And when you go through that type of life experience and you're sitting inside of a substance abuse place or mental health place, and you have all of these destructive behaviors, you self-sabotage, you drink, you use, you're promiscuous, you spend money, you live recklessly. When a person's sitting in a group and talking, they say, well, look what happened to me in my life. Look what my mom did. Look what my dad did. Look where my mom went. Look where my dad went. Look at the type of life I had. Look at the traumas I experienced. Look at how many times we moved. We went through revolution. We went through war. We went through immigration. Look at my life. I mean, that's why I do what I do. The pain of all that, the anxiety, the depression, the trauma, the PTSD. That's why I do all that stuff. And you would do the same if it happened to you. And here's the thing. Siamak taught me, and I'm telling you, and I've been trying to teach this to people too, that none of that stuff that happened to your life growing up was your fault. None of it. It wasn't your fault that your mom or your dad left you. It wasn't your fault that your mom or your dad abused you. It wasn't your fault that the people in your life that you were supposed to trust, caregivers, family members, hurt you, violated your trust, abused you. It wasn't your fault that your family had poor financial situations and you had to figure out a way to get by. It wasn't your fault that the country that you lived in went through a war and a revolution. It wasn't your fault that the person you loved in a romantic relationship lied to you, cheated on you, hurt you. None of that stuff was your fault. Okay, I'll give that to you. But you're responsible for picking up the pieces and healing from it. And that's a hard pill to swallow because people say, what do you mean? Did you just not hear what I told you that person, that monster did to me when I was a kid? He says, no, I hear you. And my heart breaks that you had to go through that feeling. And it's sad to me that any child should have to go through that. However, you're responsible for healing. It's like, no, it's too much pain. I can't deal with the pain. It's too much. That's why I drink. That's why I use. That's why I take these pills. Well, you know what? That's your choice you're left with. Either you take responsibility for your broken heart and broken wounds and heal, or continue doing that and continue giving your power to them. Let them live in your mind rent-free. Let them take away your peace and let them keep stealing from you emotionally and physically while you try to keep numbing yourself because of what they did to you. In all these years that I watched the recovery participants come and go, and not only my own personal practice, our company, Buckeye Recovery Network, at Siamaks Place, different places I go to, the ones that are able to take responsibility for what's left over are the ones that heal and recover. The ones that are waiting for someone to come from 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago to come say sorry to them, to come apologize to them, to come say, oh, it's okay, 20 years ago I hurt you. I want to say sorry. I wish I was a better parent. I wish I was a better friend. I wish I was a better influence on your life. Those people that are waiting are always still waiting, drinking, waiting, abusive, angry, drunk. And guess what they also do? This is the hardest one, man, but it's true. If you don't take responsibility for your life, hear me from this. This is a very cold thing to tell people. You will repeat to others what was done to you. If you don't pick up the pieces of your broken heart and broken soul and broken mind and get help from people like me and the gyms and all the beautiful counselors and therapists and people like that out there in this world, and find a sober support group of family members and people that you can heal with, you will do to others what was done to you. Do you ever think it's odd or weird that some kid that was beat by his family growing up and experienced all that pain 20 years later is now beating their own child? Do you understand how that happens? Or someone that was always put down, the parents are like, you're stupid, you're dumb, you'll never be anything. And their self-esteem was this big. And now they have their own children and they're telling their kid they're stupid and they're dumb, they'll never be anything. You think that stuff just randomly happens? You think someone that watched their parents cheat on each other and go off with different people, later on in life, they have their own family, now they're cheating on each other and going off with different people? You think that stuff just happens? The reason why that stuff happens, my friends, is because people don't take responsibility for their lives. And I know that you're probably thinking that this guy doesn't get it because there's some people that experience some things. I've seen it all. If you've experienced the gnarliest forms of trauma, my heart goes out to you. My compassion goes out to you. But despite of that, what are you going to do about it? If you experience the most abuses in your life and you're left just broken right now, what are you going to do about it? People wait around so long waiting for these apologies to come that'll never come. Yeah, it's hurt people hurt people. Well, let's see what Jim said here. I am responsible when anyone anywhere reaches out for help. I want the hand of recovery to be there for them, know that I'm responsible. Yeah, we talk about this, and this is the program talk right here, Jim saying, but it goes beyond that. It goes beyond that. We are responsible for carrying the message to other people and families who are still struggling. That's what this, I guess, Jim, that's what the essence of this Saturday talks are, my friend. We're just responsible for carrying the message. And Eileen, hurt people hurt people. Damn right. You know, and guess what? Healed people can heal people, and transformed people can transform people. That's where the evolution of that statement is. So the next one is Siamak taught me. There's only 3 more left. You know, we got about 11 minutes. Never be afraid to tell people the truth, but do it with unconditional positive regard. Never be afraid to tell people the truth, but do it with an unconditional positive regard. Because here's the thing. It's not what you say, but how you say it. We all know this. So, for example, let me give you a distinction real quick. I've shared a video on this previously, but if I tell you, hey, hey, Jim, what's wrong with you? Jim's like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? As soon as I tell somebody what's wrong with you, it puts them on the defense. It's like, why are you attacking me? But if I say, hey, Jim, what's troubling you? And you're like, hey, man, thank you for asking. I'm just going through some health stuff, a little overwhelmed, a little tired, but overall, I'm good. See, what's wrong with you comes off like an assassination. What's troubling you comes off in such a soft, digestible way. And it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing that you can tell the truth to people due to unconditional positive regard, and timing. Timing can be everything. God, tone is important too. Let's see what Patient said over here. So first of all, glad you guys are watching. Second of all, most people who drink or drug are not even aware that the trauma that they bury has anything to do with their use. Oh, I know. Oh, trust me, I know this. So let me have a little rewind. I'm going really heavy on that talk today because it's something that I really needed to understand. But I mean, our society teaches us certain things. Like as soon as a boy falls down, or it doesn't have to be a boy, but as soon as a kid falls down in sports and they're crying, someone says, get up. Boys don't cry. Kids don't cry. So we're taught to suppress our emotions at a young age. We're taught that showing emotions equals weakness. Vulnerability equals weakness. It's not true. It's just some weird context that society's created for us. So the traumas that we experience growing up significantly impact, it's not just substance abuse, it's all behaviors that help self-regulate our emotions. So if you experience trauma as a child, that means what? You were probably super anxious. You probably got really depressed. It impacted your self-esteem, self-worth. So when you're really anxious, right, we look for behaviors or coping mechanisms to bring down the anxiety. It could be alcohol. It could be a video game. It could be shopping. It could be 1,000 different things. When we're really depressed, maybe we're looking for something to bring us up. Maybe we're sleeping a lot. Maybe we're getting in codependent relationships to feel love from somebody else because we don't feel it ourselves. There is a lot of maladaptive coping patterns that happen as a byproduct of childhood trauma. Marina Harbor, I suggest going and learning as much as you can. I'm sure you guys either teach them this or expose them to this, but adverse childhood experiences, the ACEs studies, I could do a whole talk on it for you guys if you want. And it highlights the impact of childhood trauma and later on various different illnesses such as substance abuse could be one of them. And then you learn about the protective factors and how you can heal from them and all that stuff. But thank you, man. That's I know most people don't know that, but that's why we do these talks, to spread some awareness. The next one Siamak taught me, this is the best one. So I saved the kind of the best for last. There's still one more after that, but this is the best one. So Siamak taught me to take on something greater than yourself, because by doing so, your own problems will become smaller or even insignificant. So where did I learn this message from Siamak? Back in 2010, we did the Long Beach Marathon together, half marathon. And I'd never done anything like that before. And my mom even did it with us. So it's like a whole thing. You got a recovery community together. For me, that was the first time doing something. But I kid you not, I'm not even exaggerating. This gentleman probably did 50 of these things, 50 full marathons. And just to give you a perspective of what he looked like. So he would wear these little shorts that were like really, really short. And he wouldn't like walk or run this thing. He would speed walk. So he was like one of those guys that goes like this, like the Swede walkers that kind of like sway their hips. And I'm like walking side by side this guy in this, I'm jogging or whatever. We're in the Long Beach Marathon. I'm looking at him like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. He's got little booty shorts on and he's speed walking. And all of a sudden, halfway through this walk, he puts his headphones on and he's like, hey, we're live on the radio. And he like goes into a full radio show because he was really big on TV and radio. And I was like, man, this dude's on another wavelength right now, But here's what he would do for those marathons. Siamak, at a very young time in his recovery, learned this lesson that if you take on something greater than yourself, your own problems become insignificant. He decided to take on world hunger. He would cry for the kids like in impoverished places in Africa that didn't have food. And I'm telling you, man, this guy would cry for this stuff. He would just download all that pain of society. And he would do these marathons and he would bring awareness for world hunger and he would raise money and resources and he would help shelters and help starving kids all over the world. he took on something greater than himself. And I said, man, how do you do all this stuff? He's like, because when I'm worried about all these kids that don't have food, do you think it matters if I have anything to eat or drink? I'm like, whoa, man. When he takes on addiction at a large scale, the thought of picking up a drink or a drug for himself doesn't even live in that world, because his engagement in life is so much higher at a higher vibration. And I can't say I did any more marathons after that, because the beating on the body is a little bit intense. But I learned something from that man. And my whole thing is always trying to take on something greater than myself, because it's like, oh, I don't feel like it, or I don't want to. All those excuses people have, they go away when you take on something like that. So, and the very last thing I learned from Siamak, as I let you guys out of here, is to leave this world a better place. And it's safe to say, beyond any measure of doubt, that Siamak successfully accomplished that goal. I know he left my world a better place to live. I know he left my mom and dad and the entire recovery community's world a better place to live. I know that even based on some of the comments I got from the participants who never met him before, he's made their world a little bit better place to live. And that's what my goal and intention is. That's what I learned from this guy. You go and look at life. It's like some people say this world is so this and it's so that and it's so bad and it's so blah, 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 blah. Or you say, I'm going to choose to go make the next person as I meet, make their world a better place. I'm going to go call my family member and acknowledge them and say, you know what? I just want to let you know that I appreciate you and you've made my world a better place. You know, maybe you talk to a few people that you don't know that well, and you learn a little bit about them, and you show some interest and curiosity in them, and they leave saying, hey, you really helped me out today. And guess what you did in that moment? You made their world a better place. There's two worlds going on simultaneously. Whatever world you choose to engage in is the world you're going to get. And that's all I got from today. Let's all go make this world a better place in the name of Mr. Siamak Afshar. Tomorrow is his service. I know a lot of us are going to be going to it. It's going to be on broadcasted all over the world. It'll be on YouTube and everything. And I believe we're supposed to wear white for it. And if you guys have noticed anything about me in the past 3 years of live streams, I do not wear any other color besides this beautiful color, black. So I will be dressed in white tomorrow. And I'm actually looking forward to doing it. So love and appreciate all of you. I will see you next week, 9:15, so 12:15 for you Eastern folks, and whatever, like 7:15 a.m. for you Hawaiian folks. And love and appreciate all of you. See you next week. Have a great week. Bye, everyone.